Alright, so our main character gets reincarnated as a wealthy heir, only to find out his mortal enemy is the future villainess, Liu Ruyan. A literal life or death rivalry, or at least that is how the novel was supposed to go. But get this, he actually arrives way earlier than the original timeline, and he's only in his early 20s. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan is still just a high school girl, constantly calling him Big Brother with an innocent schoolgirl villainess? Honestly, our main character is totally lost in thought.
He finally decides to guide her onto the right path, but spoiler alert, she still ends up completely warped anyway.
She suddenly pins him down. Wait, what? That is definitely not in the original script.
Brother He Qiang, can you solve this?
Go on a date with me, Brother He Qiang. Will you wait for me? On a pretty stiff bed, this girl Liu Ruyan suddenly pins our guy down by the wrists. She gives him this wildly aggressive look, licks her lips, and basically whispers that she is finally an adult today. The main story actually starts with a random question about prison time for messing with minors. Right at the dinner table, our MC's best friend Chudi suddenly blurts out that exact line. It almost makes our guy spit out his Coke, and he just wipes his mouth, completely annoyed. He asks if he can at least swallow first, but the other guy literally timed his question to catch him off guard. QD slowly swallows his food and warns him that he is basically speedrunning a life sentence. Talk about a cute lead poisoning. What a mood killer. Our main character refills his drink while QD just shrugs. Seriously though, why is he so obsessed with the Liu family's unfavored third daughter? Don't tell me he is just after her looks, especially when she's not even 18. The main character instantly fires back, telling him to get his mind out of the gutter. After all, he is only in his early 20s himself, reaching out with his chopsticks. QD snatches some freshly grilled meat right from his plate, dips it in sauce, and says he is going to tell him the truth. He claims he is actually a prophet who can predict the future. Our guy asks what he predicted, and Chudi says he saw that the little girl is going to become something crazy. A ruthless demoness who will step on him, step all over his pride, and basically keep him locked up as a pet. So what is the catch? QD says this wild stuff with a completely straight face, and our guy just stares him down. He scoots back, calling QD an absolute pervert. QD complains that if our main character gets to talk nonsense, he should be allowed to speak too. But our guy figures he must have his reason, so he decides not to pry any further. He grabs his phone. He stands up, saying something came up, so he tells our guy to enjoy the food. He tells him to say hi to the girl, while our guy points at the meat plates Chudi ordered. QD says this meal is on him, leaving with a wave. Our main character waves goodbye to QD and gets right back to destroying that plate of barbecue. But here is the crazy twist. Our boy is not actually lying because he really does know the future. He got transmigrated into this novel a month ago. Just because he kept liking sweet romance stories online, he got sent to another world by the classic Truck-kun. He opened his eyes. He had become a character with his exact same name, and according to the original plot, things get wild. He is destined to offend the main villainess, Liu Ruyan, a young lady who was brutally abused by her family. She eventually blackens completely, using her genius business talent. She builds a massive empire, but does a lot of highly illegal and shady things to get there. In his original timeline, his end was crashing into an oil tanker during a massive police chase. With the plot totally derailed, he should really stay away from a toxic girl like her. But things are actually quite different because when he transmigrated here, Liu Ruyan had not turned evil yet. Right now, she is just a young and gorgeous high school girl who is only a bit gloomy and quiet because of her toxic family environment. So a few days ago, right before the big business negotiations between their families, he traded a prime piece of land in the east. He only wanted to demand Liu Ruyan, so he threw in extra perks. This crazy news spread like wildfire through their entire social circle, and everyone thought his family had lost their minds. But he just laughs it off. That useless land is literally a dead zone anyway. So there he is, grilling meat alone, quietly talking to himself. He mutters about needing an archaeological team when a confused voice suddenly asks what he is saying. Startled by the sudden sound from behind him, our boy quickly spins around to see who it is. It's Liu Ruyan, neat school uniform, ponytail, standing right there. but her eyes carry that hilarious look of pure, innocent student exhaustion, proving that school is totally draining her soul.
He casually asks if she has eaten yet as she sits down opposite him and quietly nods.
She already ate. He says to just wait up. He is almost done. She can grab food if she wants. With that, our boy starts absolutely inhaling the delicious food on the table like a total beast. Seeing him eat with such pure passion, she eventually cannot resist and ends up grabbing a few bites. She puts her backpack back on. Complete silence. Quietly following him out, she slips into the back seat while he starts the car engine. They drive out of the garage. It is dark already. The streets are mostly empty, and pale, bright moonlight slowly peeks through the dark clouds above. Mixing with the bright street lights to illuminate the road, neither of them says a single word in the quiet car. Total silence as they drive. Starting today, everything changes. She's officially free, silently traveling to the very last intersection. When he stops the car at a red light, the quiet girl in the back seat finally speaks up. She asks why he did all of that, while he just leans on the window. Gently tapping the steering wheel, he asks her back in a calm, steady voice, what did he do? She hesitates in the rearview mirror before asking why he chose her. Knowing that valuable land could have easily been traded for something much better, she is confused.
He shrugs. His family absolutely never does bad business.
Laughing, he tells her she is worth way more than some stupid land, but she sits up and begs him not to comfort her. She sinks back into her seat, letting the dark shadows completely swallow her up. Whispering quietly, she admits how useless she is compared to her siblings. She's unwanted, he gently interrupts, saying he knows. He tells her that is exactly why he rescued her from that living hell. And starting right now, she needs to listen. Forgetting their toxic words is a must, as he promises to help her prove her true worth. Her voice cracks slightly in the dark back seat as she asks why he wants to help. He pauses before admitting that he probably just wants to see a happy ending for once. To be honest, in the original novel, the things she ended up doing were pretty bad. No one could easily forgive her, but the author low-key cooked with this heartbreaking backstory. Her dark past makes you feel for her, especially since her parents utterly despised her. Those siblings literally treated her like a complete servant, constantly screaming cruel orders at her day and night. She was even violently slapped across the face just for touching her sister's stupid necklace. With absolutely zero friends at school, she was completely isolated from everyone. If even a few of those things happened to him, he would want to destroy the world too. Honestly, given everything she went through, Liu Ruyan is just a bit gloomy and quiet right now. That already proves she has got a super strong mind, but even resilient hearts have limits. Eventually, they snap. This got him thinking. What if he could actually change her tragic ending? Is this some kind of alternative character raising? He wonders, while glancing back at the rearview mirror. The girl in the mirror is still hiding deep in the shadows, almost completely out of sight. Sensing her staring back, he decides to ask a serious question. In a very serious tone, he asks what she would do if he targeted her family business. What would she do? Liu Ruyan does not hesitate for even a single second to reply. She promises to help him, which immediately sets his mind at ease. Silence falls again, until her clear voice points out that the light is green. He drives through the final intersection, heading straight toward his family's massive luxury villa. Usually, it is just him, his parents, and a few house staff living there. But now, they have got a brand new guest as Liu Ruyan steps inside. The house is bright. His dad, He Qiang, is reading, while his mom, Yao Yukin, happily watches TV. They look over. Liu Ruyan shyly hides behind him, bowing and stammering a nervous good evening. He asks why they are still up, teasingly wondering if they were waiting. His dad grumbles, shutting his book. He complains about him running off and coming back this late. Then his dad looks past him, asking if this is the girl he mentioned. He tells her to come closer, but suddenly yells in pain as his wife pinches him. She warns him not to scare her. Pulling her hand back from his waist, Yao Yuqin kindly waves Liu Ruyan over with a warm smile. Seeing the approving look in his mother's eyes, our main character can already tell where this is going.
She is definitely misunderstanding their relationship, but honestly, it is not a big deal.
Liu Ruyan bites her lip, looking at He Qiang for approval, and slowly walks over after he nods. She sits right next to his mom, ready to answer whatever question they have for her. Meanwhile, his dad has migrated over to a single armchair. For some reason, He Qiang is glaring daggers at his son, which is honestly hilarious, but stressful. The MC just watches his mom pull the girl into a cozy, casual chat. He shrugs to show it is none of his business and leans against the back of the sofa. He casually teases his dad about having the lowest status in the entire house. His dad immediately fires back, threatening to cut off his allowance right then and there. He quickly backtracks when his wife glares at him, saying he was just talking about himself. He stands up, telling him to follow him to the study. Before heading out, He Qiang looks back at Liu Ruyan, who is getting absolutely bombarded by his mom. She looks completely flustered, but surprisingly, there is no real panic on her face. She does not seem to mind the attention, so he figures everything is going to be fine. Relieved, he follows his dad as their voices drift after him. She asks her how she likes her son, and honestly, the matchmaking speed here is absolutely crazy. Entering the quiet study, the father takes his seat behind the heavy wooden desk. He motions for his son to sit across from him, and the serious vibe immediately sets in. His dad suddenly drops a massive bomb, saying he and the mom are moving out. Our guy is completely stunned because this is literally the first time he's hearing about it. He Qiang facepalms, admitting he did not even know himself until today. Apparently, the mom thinks having two old folks around the house is a total vibe killer. She wants to give the young couple space, and her friends all just moved to the elite Western Villa district, so she wants in on the action. That's when our MC remembers his family actually owns multiple luxury villas over there. He quickly tries to explain that bringing the girl over was absolutely not what they are thinking. But He Qiang just puts his hand up, signaling him to shut up. He tells him to relax because his parents are totally open-minded about these things. No excuses, he is of age. It's time to start thinking about the future, but then the dad suddenly stands up. He walks around the desk, places a heavy hand on his shoulder, and sighs deeply. He says they raised him right, so before he does anything reckless, he needs to think it through, which literally leaves our MC totally baffled and confused. Like, what is he even hinting at? Sure, Liu Ruyan is gorgeous, but He Qiang squeezes his shoulder tight. He points out that the girl is still a minor, which is just wild. Our MC doesn't know whether to laugh or cry, telling his dad to chill because he's got this. His dad just nods, telling him to head back inside. He also reminds the MC to tell his mom not to keep the poor girl up too late since she has school tomorrow. Leaving the study first, He Qiang lets him go, but when our MC walks into the living room, only his mom, Yao Yuqin, is left sitting there. The female lead, Liu Ruyan, is already gone. When he asks where she went, his mom says she sent her back to get some rest. She jokingly asks if he really thinks she is that heartless to keep the poor girl up all night. Yao Yuqin seems to be in a great mood, leaving our MC wondering what secret she and Liu Ruyan shared. Hearing that they plan to move out, she asks him if it is happening very soon. She tells him not to worry, she won't ruin their cute little world. What a legendary mom. His attempts to explain the misunderstanding are completely ignored as she laughs it off. Yao Yuqin keeps teasing him, but then her playful tone suddenly drops to a much more serious note. Wondering what kind of terrible treatment Liu Ruyan had to endure back home, she sighs. She admits she heard the rumors. Seeing her in person proves they are all true. Honestly, this poor girl deserved so much better. Warning him never to mistreat the girl, he quickly promises he never would. Our MC is built different, totally confident that he can protect her from any future drama. Plus, he is low-key planning to build an empire with her. Her future self is an absolute beast. She is literally a walking cheat code for printing cash, even though his family is already filthy rich. But who would ever say no to extra money? Yao Yuqin just stares at her son with deep concern. Watching her son giggling like a total maniac to himself, she just shakes her head and walks away. Shaking his head, he heads to his room. Thanks to his mom's matchmaking, they're living together. Liu Ruyan's room is right next door. As he turns off the hall lights, he passes by. He notices light still leaking from under her door. What is she doing up this late? After debating it, our boy softly knocks on the door and asks if she's still awake. Total silence. Then,
Quiet rustling, soft footsteps, and then the door handle finally starts to spin.
The door creaks open. Liu Ruyan has already changed into a light blue nightgown.
She wears a winter coat over it, and her ponytail is finally let down.
Silky hair drapes over her shoulders, making her look way more mature. Her vibe feels much softer as her hand rests quietly on the doorknob. She looks up at him, her eyes filled with pure confusion. Liu Ruyan parts her lips, hesitating for just a second. Hesitating on his name, she asks if Brother He Qiang needs anything since his light is still on. Are you still studying? Out of politeness. He avoids looking inside her room, still feeling totally awkward.
He says he cannot sleep.
She pauses, then swings the door open wider. Stepping aside, she clears the doorway, even though she does not say a word. She is definitely inviting him in. After a brief moment of hesitation, our boy walks inside. The room is neat and tidy. It has a cute, girly vibe, clearly hand-decorated by his own mother. A math workbook lies open on the desk alongside an uncapped pen and scrap paper. He glances at the math problems, conic sections. Nope, instant skip. Desperation makes you do anything. But math is the exception because if you do not get it, you just do not. Finals are coming up, so she wants to study a bit more. Liu Ruyan steps away from the closed door, asking if he can do it. He tries to summon his long-lost school knowledge. Man, is this what losing all your cultivation feels like? Struggling for a few seconds, he gives up and points to his head, saying she overestimates him. You gotta understand, once you start college, your brain basically resets to factory settings. Liu Ruyan sits on the bed, asking if that is true. She twirls her hair with her fingers, looking strangely nervous. He says it is highly likely, then quickly changes the subject to ask if she likes the room. Liu Ruyan looks down at the mattress, her slender fingers brushing over the sheets. Honestly, she is not used to this yet, since it is way better than her old place. Even the bed is incredibly comfortable, making the whole situation feel completely unreal to her. Our boy remembers her old house where she was practically living in a storage closet. He rubs his chin, telling her she better adapt quickly since this is her room now. She mentions his mom talked to her a lot earlier and she thinks she made a point. After a tense, awkward silence, Liu Ruyan suddenly stops. She stops playing with her hair, bites her lower lip, and suddenly walks right over to him. Like she just made a massive decision. Wait, what did his mom even say to her? Although he has no idea what they discussed, he can feel where this is going. It is about to get way too spicy, and he completely freezes mid-sentence. Just like a jammed machine, he can only watch as she stiffly steps closer. She takes off her winter coat and tosses it on the bed, revealing her surprisingly mature figure. She softly says that if a guy treats a girl this well for no real reason, he must have some hidden motives. Right now, Liu Ruyan is putting on serious pressure. She steps closer. He steps back. Until he collapses right onto his chair. Wait, did she close the door with this exact intention? The girl continues, saying she genuinely believes everything he told her in the car. Plus, he rescued her from that horrible place and she is deeply grateful for that. If he needs her to repay him, Liu Ruyan suddenly leans down right in front of his chair. He leans right over her, trapping her with one arm by her head and the other on the armrest. A sweet scent drifts off him, and our girl Liu Ruyan, blushing like crazy, can't help but lean in. With her face red as a ripe apple, he whispers softly right in her ear. Barely making a sound, he tells her he is totally fine. So basically, he chickens out and runs, but first he warns her not to say such reckless things. Especially when she is this gorgeous, adding that it is way too early for her to think like this. He says she needs to wait until she is of age and realizes it is getting super late. Telling her to get some rest, he practically bolts out the door. After spitting those words out at lightning speed, the guy who was so calm in the car earlier panics and flees the room, leaving Liu Ruyan to lie alone on her massive, unfamiliar bed. She buries herself under the covers, her face still burning like an absolute oven. She starts stressing out, desperately wondering if he now thinks she is just some easy girl. That painful question plays on loop as she endlessly tosses and turns in bed. Finally getting exhausted from tossing, she kicks off the blanket to breathe some fresh air. Sighing deeply, she knows she absolutely was not lying when she offered herself. In fact, she had completely prepared herself to accept whatever happened tonight, no matter the consequences. Over 10 years of dealing with her toxic family taught her that everyone always has a hidden motive. He definitely has a scheme, but honestly, what does she even have to offer? Besides herself, she literally has nothing left of value to give him. So she resolved to give herself to him, but here is the twist. After a brief moment of hesitation, he actually rejected her and said those sweet words. "Do I really need to wait until I am of age?" she mutters to herself. Suddenly, past memories flood back, reminding her of the day her life flipped upside down. "Pack your bags and get out of this house starting tomorrow," her father announced. Her father, Lu Ming, cold-heartedly declared this during dinner. Honestly, what a complete scumbag. No discussion, no heads up, not even a formal order. He said it so casually, like he was talking about some trivial chore. Her mother, Chen Shu Yu, just sat there in shock, absolutely useless as always. Wait, what actually happened? Well, it all started with a business deal. Representing the rival He family in this massive deal was their spoiled young master, He Qiang. This spoiled brat was way easier to handle than his dad, and quickly sold them the eastern plot. Lu Ming brags that the only condition for the land was giving up some minor shops, owned by their company, and of course giving away their own daughter, Liu Ruyan. Who knew a powerful figure like He Jun would raise such a brainless son? He turned out to be a total simp, willing to trade prime land just for a pretty face. Her older brother, Liu Zhangyun, happily toasts the deal, showing his brotherly love is basically non-existent. They start laughing about how He Qiang is just a clueless, brainless rich kid. Giving up incredibly prime land so easily means He Qiang's dad is probably fuming right now. Liu Ming bursts out laughing, loudly bragging that He Qiang is not even 1/10 as competent as his own son. He claims that even though the He family is massive, his own son is built completely different. Her sister chimes in, saying they cannot blame He Qiang since Liu Ruyan only has her face going for her. Even if she is pretty, it is a shame He Qiang is actually handsome, yet has such terrible taste. Her second sister, Liu Ri, sneers at her with pure jealousy, calling the whole deal a complete win. At least once she leaves, their household will finally be a lot more peaceful. "She literally ruined my limited edition dress in the wash, Dad. You have to do something." "Oh, just let it go. Today is your sister's absolute last day at home anyway. You're the older sister, so just deal with it for now, and in a few days, I'll buy you a few brand new ones to replace them." "Thanks, Dad." "You're the best," as their happy laughter echoed right in her ears. Ruyan just sat in the corner, realizing she was completely cut off from their warmth, staring at her sad, self-made noodles while they feasted on a literal banquet. And through all of this, she never said a single word to Lu Ming. She didn't complain about his cruel arrangements. She just sat there in silence, looking just like a lifeless, breathing doll without any emotion left in her. The only thing she whispered in a barely audible voice was He Qiang's name. Snapping out of her dark memories, Ruyan finally managed to drift off to sleep. Bro, what? Is this future villainess seriously trying to test my self-control like this? Like, who could actually resist that? Thank God He Qiang held his ground. Back in his room, that insanely tense moment was still playing on repeat. If she's this dangerous now, she's going to be absolutely unstoppable when she grows up. Honestly, He Qiang almost let things slide, but luckily he had some common sense left. He just stared at the ceiling, reminding himself that the law is a real thing. Ruyan's move caught him totally off guard, and it wasn't just how others saw things. It seemed even she assumed He Qiang brought her over to his place for, well, that kind of reason. I mean, he did want her, but definitely not like that. It's strictly about reform, though looking at the situation now, reforming this future villainess is going to be a long, wild ride, guys. He turned off the lights to sleep, and by the very next morning, He Qiang was already in the kitchen cooking breakfast when Ruyan walked in. Their eyes met, and she immediately looked away, feeling pretty awkward after last night. She sat down quietly on the sofa while He Qiang finished setting up the table. He told her to start eating first so the noodles wouldn't go soggy. Then he went upstairs to wake up his parents, who were already up. His dad, He Jun, yawned and told them to go ahead and start eating. When they all came downstairs, Ruyan was still sitting near the sofa. She was staring intently at a few business documents left on the coffee table. Yao Yuqian leaned over to see, instantly startling Ruyan, who scrambled to explain. She waved her hands in a panic, apologizing for snooping around. She promised she just saw them on the table and accidentally looked over. He Qiang smiled, explaining these were the shops they just bought from her family. He noticed her expression and asked if she had any business thoughts on them. He Qiang looked at her warmly, genuinely curious about what she was thinking. Seeing that his dad was actually being serious, Ruyan hesitated for a moment. She carefully spoke up, sharing some incredibly smart business ideas about the stores. Meanwhile, He Qiang sat back with Yao Yuqian and quietly enjoyed his breakfast.
He kept a close eye on the living room as Ruyan spoke.
She laid out a brilliant strategy, and He Qiang kept nodding along, totally impressed.
The pride in his dad's eyes was growing, and He Qiang just smirked. He took a bite of noodles to hide his smug, proud dad smile. Turns out those papers were left there on purpose, all part of his master plan. But then he gets a sudden smack on the head to snap him back. Yao Yuki looks at him with pure disgust, asking why he is grinning like an idiot. She then turns to Liu Ruyan, warmly calling her over to grab some food first. Eat before it gets cold. No point talking to a workaholic uncle who only thinks about business. As Liu Ruyan finally sits down at the table to eat, He Qiang is still chilling on the couch, carefully flipping through those secret documents. Our boy brings a bowl over to the coffee table and casually asks what he thinks.
Setting them aside, He Qiang admits that the girl actually has some insane business talent.
Honestly, that clown Lu Ming must be completely blind to have sidelined her this long. Then he gives the MC a sharp look, asking if he knew this would happen all along. Is that why you made that wild demand? By the way, I secretly investigated that plot of land. Turns out there is actually something pretty massive hidden underneath. Just assume I got lucky and pulled an SSR tier card, the MC laughs, handing him the bowl. Later, as he drives Liu Ruyan to school, the silence in the car is real. From the back seat, she softly thanks him, and he replies he had to go out anyway. He turns the corner, slowing down as the morning traffic starts to pick up. Honestly, the vibe is a bit awkward until the school gates finally come into view. That is when Liu Ruyan speaks up in a whisper so quiet he can barely hear. She asks about last night. He parks the car and turns, seeing her hair covering her face. Her ears are completely bright red before she suddenly throws the door open and bolts. She mumbles it is nothing and runs. Who knew the bold girl from last night could get this shy? He just chuckles, watching her run off, before starting the engine to head to his next meeting. When he finally arrives, the rest of the crew is already waiting. Chu Di greets him as he steps inside, complaining that they have been waiting forever. He points out that even Yunhei fell asleep, giving his dozing buddy a light smack. Yunhei wakes up groggy, asking if it is food time. Not yet, so stay awake. The MC sits down and asks if Tang Jiang is late again. Classic move for him. Chu Di sighs with his usual exasperation, shaking his head at the predictable delay. Meanwhile, Yunhei starts dozing off again. Just as the MC is about to speak, the door swings open behind them, and Tang Jiang walks in clutching a thick folder. He complains about hearing them talking trash the second he walks in. Too shady, guys. Chu Di instantly shuts up, staring at the ceiling like it is some high art. But the MC's eyes are locked onto the serious-looking folder in Tang Jiang's hands. He asks how bad it is, and Tang Jiang admits it is worse than expected. No one realized they were pulling such vile, underhanded schemes behind closed doors. Due to his own family history, Tang Jiang speaks with absolute righteous fury. This finally snaps Yunhei awake, and Chu Di instantly locks in, the playful mood gone. They ask if this heavy drama is the real reason they gathered everyone today. Yes, Tang Jiang nods, tossing the heavy folder right onto the table. Inside is all the dirty laundry the Liu group has been hiding for years. He tells them to read it. Meanwhile, at school, Liu Ruyan sits alone in a corner. Absolutely nobody comes over to talk to her, partly because of her quiet personality.
She is too shy to initiate conversations either. Basically, she has zero friends at school.
Honestly, it is sad because her entire school life has always been this lonely. For some reason, Liu Ruyan is feeling completely out of her element today. Honestly, she is already low-key missing that super soft bed from last night. Suddenly, a soft tap on her shoulder snaps her right back to reality as she spins around. It is just a quiet, nice-looking girl sitting right next to her in class. Once she gets her attention, she points over toward the classroom door. She says someone is looking for her, leaving our girl totally confused as she heads out. Outside, she spots a pretty petite girl leaning right against the wall by the door. Judging by her uniform, she's a junior. Runyan asks her what she needs in a polite tone. The girl looks strangely familiar, but Ruyan just cannot place her yet. The junior circles her, asking if she is really the third lady of the Liu family. She sizes her up while nodding. It is a bit weird, but Ruyan does not sense any bad vibes from her. The girl finally stops right in front of her. She looks up, tells Rian to follow her, and honestly, the height difference is hilarious. This junior is trying so hard to look tough. But because she is so short, it just looks incredibly cute instead. What does she want? Thanks to her toxic family, she has a crazy sharp radar for bad vibes. Her own family? Pure toxicity. But He Qiang does not give off those vibes, and neither does this strange girl. No bad vibes at all, so she follows her to the stairs. Just as she is waiting for her to speak, the girl suddenly spins around and lunges forward. Her tough girl act completely vanishes, and her eyes are literally sparkling with pure excitement. She squeals, asking if Ruyan remembers last year's birthday banquet. They never actually spoke. But close up, she is completely stunned by how gorgeous Ruyan is. Ruyan is totally thrown off by this sudden shift, but it clicks. She finally remembers. She introduces herself as Chu Lulo. She gushes about how crazy it is that Ruyan is dating He Qiang now. Ruyan is literally thinking, what on earth is this girl talking about? And then, boom, all those wild memories from last night come rushing back. Her face turns completely bright red in a matter of seconds as she gets flustered. She gets super shy. She stammers for her to stop talking nonsense, but Luolo sees her blushing face and is not buying the denial for a single second. Before she can push further, the school bell rings. Luolo promises to find her at lunch. She looks disappointed for a split second before her bright smile returns. As she runs away, Ruyan is left frozen. Under the loud school bell, she slowly raises her hand, covering her burning cheeks with her hair, wondering what is happening to her. But here's the thing, the documents show this construction company has covered up multiple fatal accidents. They even steal wages from their workers, absolutely heartless behavior. It gets worse, showing massive tax evasion and high-level executives constantly taking advantage of female employees. So Jiang asks Yunhei about his file, saying his own seems pretty normal. It just says some project manager's wife went to his office to catch him cheating, only to find her husband getting way too close with the male janitor. Bro, what? The group cannot believe what they are actually reading. Jiang tells them to just summarize it once they are done reading. Tang Jiang claps to get their attention, warning them these are just the mild ones. There is much worse stuff that cannot be leaked, he says, looking at Yang. Tang Jiang thought Jiang was just joking when he asked him to dig up the Liu group. But he actually found a mountain of dirty secrets thanks to his crazy connections. Honestly, if his path wasn't so solid, half of this would remain buried. Zhang frowns as he reads. Turns out the original novel skipped all these details. But here is the truth about the Liu group and Liu Ruyan's ultimate villain form. They did some incredibly shady things in the past, and they are purely evil. Suddenly, Jiang remembers something and asks Tang Jiang about the files in his hands. Can they wait a bit before submitting them? Tang Jiang asks what he is cooking up. One look at Jiang's face, and Tang Jiang knows a wild plan is underway. He can hold the files, but not forever. He asks when Jiang wants to strike. Jiang just smiles like an absolute villain and waits for the right moment. Remember that land the Liu group recently acquired? They took it right from his hands, so they should wait until construction starts. Yunhei says they all know that, but why did Jiang give up the land? It has massive commercial value, but QD actually has a wild theory. He asks if they watch those cheesy web dramas because in those stories, there is a very specific trope. The quiet QD finally speaks up. His glasses literally reflect light like a genius detective about to drop a bomb. He claims there is a hidden tomb under that land, and Jiang just smiles. That silent reaction says everything. Man, Chang is low-key devious for this. Tang Jiang immediately gets the trap and laughs at how dirty the plan is. He is totally down to wait. Meanwhile, Yoon-hee thinks about it for a second. He calls Jiang a complete schemer, but Jiang immediately defends his own innocence.
Jiang claims he is not that old, and Chudi just sarcastically agrees.
Then he asks how the new roommate is doing, and everyone instantly stares. Jiang explains the situation and tells them everything that has been going down.
Of course, he skips the spicy part in Liu Ruyan's bedroom before Yoon-hee speaks.
So he is saying there is a young, beautiful girl living with him? Jiang says his parents are moving out soon too. Leaving the two of them completely alone? Yes, and his friends are furious.
Yoon-hee looks like his soul left his body as he stares at the ceiling. He jokes about hanging himself, but Chudi shuts him down immediately.
Besides, this is not the first time he got scammed online anyway.
Chudi sighs and mentions he forgot to tell Jiang something important.
Luluo and Liu Ruyan actually go to the exact same school.
QD gives him a look of pure pity, warning him to think.
How is he going to face the third young lady?
Jiang is clueless. But he is about to find out real quick because that very night, Liu Ruyan's attitude toward He Qiang gets super weird, mostly because of last night.
She used to just glance away nervously, but now she's straight up avoiding his gaze. Talking to her is like chatting with a broken NPC who only responds with robotic nods.
Plus, the massive blush on her ears is basically permanent at this point. He's low-key worried her brain is going to melt from the sheer embarrassment. Even He Qiang's mom, who hasn't moved out yet, corners him to ask if he's bullying her. Talk about zero motherly trust. But honestly, this has Chowdi's predictions written all over it. Q Luolo definitely whispered some wild ideas into Liu Ruyan's ear, completely breaking her. This normally brave but easily spooked girl is now pure panic. Knowing Chi Lolo's track record, she's a hardcore shipper who probably pried some juicy details out of Chu Dai. That's why she's currently on a matchmaking rampage. Fast forward 2 days later. He Jian-jun and Yao Yuqing officially move out. Before leaving, Jian-jun pulls He Qiang aside for one last talk. He leaves the mysterious package situation entirely in He Qiang's hands, while Yao Yuqing holds Ruyan's hand.
She gives her a long, heartfelt, motherly talk, and just like that, they are gone.
He Qiang and Liu Ruyan's official live-in era has officially begun. Honestly, though, she spends 90% of her day buried in schoolwork. So nothing crazy or romantic actually happens at first. But getting away from her toxic family finally lets her open up and smile more. Sure, her nightly looks at him go from shy glances to nervous twitches. And now she's practically staring holes through him, but hey, surely it's fine. Honestly, based on all the yandere manhwa I've read, this is getting sketchy. This is getting dangerous. He seriously needs Chudi to put a leash on Chu Lolo. He has to stop her from fanning these flames. But slowly, they both adjust to living under the same roof and things quiet down. Liu Ruyan behaves completely normal right up until her first day of school break. One morning, she walks out and asks if he's free tomorrow. Still in her pajamas, she spots He Qiang lounging on the sofa. He says he's free, and she immediately drops the bomb. Then go on a date with me. Talk about a bold declaration from our high school lead. Next morning comes around.
He Qiang gets dressed and heads out, only to find her already waiting at the door.
She is completely ready, and she's not wearing her usual pajamas or school uniform. Instead, she's wearing a stunning off-shoulder light blue dress that flows beautifully. It shows off her slender ankles, perfectly paired with clean white platform shoes. She stands there politely with her hands clasped, carrying a cute little handbag. She looks incredibly sweet, plus she skipped the usual ponytail today, letting her silky black hair drape over her shoulders, giving her a super gentle vibe. Forget the usual girl next door look, because right now, she looks like an absolute lady. She even put on some light makeup. He Qiang walks over and asks if she has been waiting long. Liu Ruyan quietly checks him out from head to toe. She quickly covers it up with a fake cough, claiming she just got ready too. She opens the door, eager to get moving. She says, "Let's go," and they hit the streets. The sun is shining, and He Qiang walks right by her side, feeling the warmth. He asks what inspired this sudden date, wondering if Chi Luluo coached her. Liu Ruyan turns her head, looking at him with a dead serious expression.
Mentioning other girls on a date is a 10-point deduction, she says. After a brief stun, everything finally clicks.
He finally understands the whole situation now and cannot help but laugh while looking at her.
She is honestly hilarious. I feel like you are laughing at me, Liu Ruyan complains.
Well, you are absolutely right, he teases, and she immediately starts swatting his arm.
She is barely putting any force into it, so he just lets her do her worst.
Because in the words of his friend Chi-Di, this might actually count as a reward.
Since my points are already deducted, can you at least tell me the answer to my question? He asks.
Liu Ruyan pulls back her fist and nods, just about to spill the details. But she suddenly freezes, and her face instantly blushes a bright crimson.
She quickly shakes her head, saying it is probably not a good idea. Yeah, she is totally busted.
Honestly, this just makes him even more curious about what secrets she and Shululu actually shared.
Wait, let me confirm something first, Liu Ruyan says, blinking her eyes innocently.
What is it? He asks, enjoying her cute reaction while low-key wanting to win her little game.
Do we have any extra credit tasks today? Because he definitely needs some bonus points.
Flashback time! That is how you trigger a guy's competitive drive, Shulolo says, eating some cake. She seriously explains that this is exactly how she handles her own brother whenever they play video games together. And that is how she successfully steals his allowance. Liu Ruyan is taking notes like a good student.
She listens intensely, nodding along to every single word of this romance masterclass.
Her pen is literally flying across her notebook, but Shulolu warns that the real key is thinking on your feet.
Open wide, Shulolu says, stuffing a french fry straight into Liu Ruyan's mouth.
Trust me on this. I have already done some recon on my brother for you. He Qiang is super easy to handle. Hearing this, Liu Ruyan feels way more confident. Lorlu, you are literally a genius. Hearing that praise, Lorlu proudly puffs out her chest. I am a certified dating sim master after all. But putting that aside, what is your plan?
Why did you suddenly decide to ask him out anyway?
Liu Ruyan pauses to think. Because I have been acting so weird lately, like I can barely look him in the eyes anymore. Shilulo sits up, totally hooked. What else? She asks. Well, there is the day before yesterday. I accidentally walked in on him right after his shower, and he was completely shirtless. That image is living rent-free in my mind, Liu Ruyan quietly mumbles, her head dropping in pure embarrassment. Her voice trails off. Meanwhile, Shulolo's eyes start to sparkle. This is getting good. So, what do you actually think of He Qiang as a person? He is amazing. Whenever I oversleep, he always makes sure to come wake me up. He is a fantastic cook, and everything he prepares is honestly delicious. When it rains, he always picks me up and tilts the umbrella so I do not get wet. She lists these off without even thinking. Hearing this, Shilolu slams her hands on the table. Fed up with pure secondhand romance sweetness, Shulolo collapses onto the table completely satisfied. A massive grin is plastered on her face. She looks up at the totally clueless Liu Ruyan. She gives her a big thumbs up, telling her to keep fighting for her man. I definitely will, Liu Ruyan nods, though she still has absolutely zero clue what a dating sim actually is. Fast forward to the date. You were so close. He Qiang encourages her at the claw machine. Liu Ruyan is completely locked in, her eyes glued to the claw as it slowly descends. They watch the claw successfully grab the plushie by its ear and lift it into the air. She is so incredibly nervous, she even stops breathing, but anyone who has played this game knows what is coming. That claw losing its grip halfway through is literally a universal law. Ain't no way it is that easy. Okay, random cut, but now we're at the arcade where she's staring at a dropping plushie, classic date trope. The toy slips back down, and our girl lets out a tragic, disappointed sigh. Seeing her looking like a sad puppy, he pats her head and tells her to watch a master. He drops his last 2 arcade coins into the slot and takes a deep breath. His eyes lock in, calculating the claw's trajectory like he's solving some high-level calculus. Now or never, he slams that button. They both hold their breath, staring with pure hope as the claw descends. A little later, they walk out of the arcade with Liu Ruyan clutching a massive teddy bear. She buries half her face in the bear's head, speaking in this incredibly cute, muffled voice.
She teases him, saying she actually believed in him, but his button-pressing form was totally off.
Next time we'll get it, she promises, while our boy just rubs his nose in defeat. Total flop. His attempt to look cool failed hard. The claw didn't even hold the toy for 1 second, so we had to resort to a new plan. He used his ultimate wallet power cheat code, buying the plushie outright to give to her. She keeps teasing, but those sparkling eyes say it all. Especially with those imaginary happy flowers practically floating around her. Honestly, this wholesome payoff is top tier. Her nervous body language totally gives away her feelings. Wait, what even is that special effect on screen? Before He Qiang can even process this, he feels a soft tug on his hand.
Liu Ruyan is clutching her toy bear with one hand, pointing at a boba shop with the other. She asks if he wants a drink since they just spent 2 hours at the arcade.
He nods, and honestly, what she does next is so smooth.
She naturally slides her fingers down and holds his hand. Bro, she actually has some game.
Her hand is super soft and warm, gently gripping his with a quiet warmth. You can see the pure nervousness in her eyes, especially with her ears turning slightly red.
Thank goodness He Qiang is not dense enough to pull away, letting her lead him to the shop.
She orders a 70% sugar lemonade and a 50% sugar mint green tea.
Once inside, Liu Ruyan lets go of his hand to place the order with the cashier. She finishes ordering only to realize he has been staring at her, making her blush instantly. She asks if something is wrong, and He Qiang decides to just be completely honest. He admits he is just surprised she actually knows exactly what he likes.
Liu Ruyan purses her lips and proudly says she did a ton of research on him. She complains she is the only one preparing, teasing that she is deducting 5 points.
He Qiang completely freezes, but then she adds that she really loves the toy bear he won.
So she awards him 15 points instead, quickly burying her blushing face back into the plush.
10,000, 15 plus 15 equals, He Qiang literally does the math in his head twice.
He realizes she is actually incredibly easy to win over while they wait for their drinks.
It is so obvious how much she loves that plush bear, constantly rubbing her face against it.
She nuzzles its fluffy ears and suddenly asks He Qiang a serious question.
Liu Ruyan tilts her head while clutching her bear, asking our boy if number 1027 will be there when she grows up. But then, the sudden hum of the generator cuts her off, snapping her right back to reality.
Seeing his confused look, she quickly plays it cool. Nothing to see here. She dashes behind the counter, and later they end up catching a movie.
Next up is shopping, and honestly, Liu Ruyan is a literal walking model who pulls off every single look.
Seriously, she completely slays in everything, making him feel like he is playing a real-life dress-up game.
Before they know it, they buy a massive pile of clothes, but here is what actually gets weird. When checking out, Liu Ruyan's face was completely red.
She paid separately for a tiny bag and absolutely refused to tell him what was inside.
Seeing her so flustered was honestly pretty funny, so he decided to tease her a bit.
Of course, the embarrassed schoolgirl got mad and docked 10 points from his score. But she quickly added those points back anyway. Standard tsundere behavior, honestly.
Even on the way home, that plushie. The bear never left Liu Ruyan's arms, so he asked if she had fun today.
Yeah, she said no one has ever taken me out to just have fun before.
Even if they did, it was only for boring business banquets. Her voice was flat.
She spoke like it was someone else's life, calling this her happiest time ever.
She confessed that this was exactly why she wanted to confirm her true feelings today.
When he asked about the result, she said her feelings were fully confirmed.
It was definitely not a sudden impulse, which is why she bought this.
Liu Ruyan lifted her small bag, though she let him carry literally everything else. But this one specific box, absolutely no peeking allowed. He only caught a quick glimpse when she packed it, some mysterious black object.
When he asked what was inside, she just smiled and gave a cryptic answer.
She called it a special tool for later, which low-key leaves us dying of curiosity.
Liu Ruyan grabbed her bags to go put them in her bedroom. He headed to his own room too, but right before she went in, she suddenly turned around and said, "Brother, I will be an adult in 2 months."
Without even waiting for his reaction, she quickly slammed her bedroom door shut. He's left standing at the door, completely lost, wondering what just happened.
Did he completely misread the situation? Because there is no way she meant that he should just get her a birthday gift.
Scratching his head, he went inside.
He barely put his bags down before his phone suddenly started ringing.
It was Chu Di telling him that the villain Liu Ming is hosting a press conference.
Chu Di asked if he wanted to go crash the party and join the fun.
A press conference? Oh, right. That new logistics project starts construction soon, so the old man is acting incredibly smug.
Chu Di laughed, noting that the perfect timing is finally coming up. So that is it. He was too busy keeping his girl company to notice him.
He says he will see him there, warning him not to let Yoon-hae hear that. Otherwise, that guy will try to elbow drop the ground from a high place again. At the banquet a few days later, Chu Di hands a pastry to Tong Zhang to taste. He deadpan tells him that it low-key tastes exactly like a cockroach.
Tang Jiang takes a bite, frowns, and agrees that it is indeed crunchy.
Salty, bitter, and totally bizarre. Standing next to them, Zhao Yunhei calmly interrupts. No, cockroaches do not taste like that.
He says he is absolutely sure, leaving our main character staring in disbelief.
At this point, he is seriously questioning his friend group, but the party is huge. It is packed with insanely wealthy elites, some even richer than his own family.
He quietly asks Tang Jiang if the package was successfully handed over.
Tang Jiang nods.
Don't worry, the timing is absolutely flawless. Then he asks why his girl did not show up today, right as...
But then Zhou Yunhei slaps the back of his head, telling him to actually use his brain. Like, think about what we did today. Is it really appropriate for him to be here?
Chu Di just sighs, complaining that his emotional intelligence is always wasted on the weirdest things.
But did he really not say anything else? Well, actually, he did. After a quick 2 seconds of silence, He Qiang reveals he got the password to Liu Ming's safe. He said all the evidence is right inside, leaving the three of them completely speechless. But before they can even discuss it further, a seriously annoying voice ruins the vibe. Liu Ruyan purrs from behind them, fake smiling and asking if that isn't Master Zhou himself. She asks if her good-for-nothing sister has been causing him any trouble lately. Liu Zhangyun plays the polite guy, lightly scolding her to not be so rude.
He slaps on a fake smile, offering He Qiang a handshake and saying it has been forever.
Meanwhile, Liu Ming is stepping up to the podium, getting ready to make his big speech. He Qiang just stares at his hand, completely ignoring it to reach over Chu Di. He grabs a plate of snacks and offers it to him instead, absolute top-tier disrespect. Someone in the crowd actually snickers, and Liu Zhangyun's fake smile completely cracks. He asks if he ever offended them, or if He Qiang is just trying to protect his sister. Trying to play the hero for her, which is just sad. He Qiang grabs a drink from Tang Jiang, asking if their shady actions are even worth defending. Then he drops a little spoiler, telling them there is a massive show about to start. He looks them dead in the eye and asks whether they think they are the audience or the actors. Right on cue, the banquet doors slam open and a mob of serious-looking officials storms inside. Up on stage, Liu Ming is bragging about the bright future of their company. But he gets cut off mid-sentence by the sudden raid. Talk about terrible timing. Leading them is a middle-aged man in uniform, backed by a whole squad of officers. There are actual police officers in the mix, along with some very serious suits. They march directly toward the stage, completely ignoring the confused crowd. Every single guest freezes, turning to look as the entire hall falls dead silent. The leader addresses Liu Ming, introducing themselves as the Municipal Tax Bureau. He flashes his badge, announcing they are part of a joint investigation task force. They have solid proof that the Liu Group is suspected of multiple major illegal activities. He demands their cooperation, leaving Liu Ming with his smug smile completely frozen in shock. Liu Ming stammers that this must be a huge mistake since they are totally law-abiding. The officer coldly replies they will find that out themselves, so he needs to comply. With absolute authority, he adds that Liu Zhangyun and Liu Rai are also under investigation. The agents immediately head over to their side of the room to round them up. Liu Zhangyun turns completely pale, desperately calling out to his dad up on the stage. Liu Rai takes a terrified step back, completely losing her cool at this point.
She whines that she knows absolutely nothing, but Liu Ming cannot even formulate a reply.
One of the suited men steps forward, pulling out official documents from his briefcase. He drops another massive bombshell, saying they investigated their upcoming construction site.
It turns out there is literally a massive ancient tomb resting directly beneath that land.
Normally they would get compensated for this, but given the current criminal situation,
the suited man and the officer share a look, knowing exactly how this ends. He tells Lu Ming to cooperate with the police first, but Lu Ming screams it is impossible. He frantically snatches the papers, his face draining of all color as he reads them. His legs finally buckle, and he collapses right there, while He Qiang silently watches.
He takes a sip of juice and asks the crew if he should record this.
Zhou Yunhei waves his phone, laughing, and says he will just send everyone a copy. Judy adjusts his glasses, fully enjoying the absolute chaos of the ruined banquet.
talk about perfect timing. Well, of course it was. Tong Jiang proudly brags about her flawless planning, while Zhou Yunhei seems lost in deep thought. He wonders if the secret safe password Liu Ruyan provided holds even more juicy secrets. There might be. He Qiang puts down his cup, signaling it is time to leave. Things are about to get wild here, so the group turns and walks out. Before leaving, He Qiang glances back at Liu Ming, who is completely shattered, and looks right at him. Our boy smirks, gently raising his wine glass in a savage, highly disrespectful mock toast. Then he walks away without looking back while the villain screams his name in rage. Liu Ming roars in pure, helpless anger from behind as they finally exit the chaotic banquet hall. The fresh outdoor air is instantly refreshing, and Tang Jiang asks what their next move is. Once the investigation results drop, the entire corrupt Liu group will face a major restructuring. He Qiang adjusts his suit jacket with total confidence. When that collapse happens, the He family will step in to buy up all their best assets. QD nods, noting that his family will probably join the bidding war too. If everyone is jumping in, then count me in as well. Zhou Yunhei chimed in, and after saying their goodbyes, they head out. On his drive home, He Qiang feels his phone vibrate in his pocket. It is a sweet text from Liu Ruyan, asking if he is coming home to eat.
He smiles and texts back that he will be there in a flash.
Stepping inside, the delicious aroma of home-cooked food instantly fills the air. Wearing a cute apron, Liu Ruyan pokes her head out from the kitchen, welcoming him back. She has just finished preparing the very last dish, her expression looking incredibly peaceful. Just like any other day, 3 dishes and a soup are set on the table. It is just simple, home-cooked food, but the presentation looks absolutely delicious. He takes a bite of the braised pork and asks when she learned to cook so well.
She casually mentions that back at her family home, the servants always forgot her meals.
But luckily, they never banned her from using the kitchen, she explains in a casual tone.
Placing some greens into his bowl, she quietly mentions that today's incident is already on the news. He Qiang pauses his chopsticks for a second, gently asking if she has any thoughts on it.
Eating her food quietly, she admits that she does not really feel anything special about them.
They stopped being her family a long time ago, and seeing them finally fall feels amazing.
Honestly, this is such a satisfying payoff.
She looks up at him now.
Her eyes are so clear as she says her only real family now is him and his parents. He Qiang asks if she wants to watch the live video of the chaos.
She definitely wants to watch, joking it will make her enjoy her dinner even more.
He jokingly warns her not to overeat, passing his phone over with a warm smile.
After that, the hype settles as the Li family gets completely overwhelmed trying to clean up their mess. They have zero time to cause any trouble, leading right up to the day of her 18th birthday. On that exact morning, He Qiang gets woken up early by the loud ringing of the doorbell. He opens it to find Shu Di, Chu Loi Loi, Zhou Yunhei, and Tang Jiang. The group is standing there with massive gift bags, and he asks what they are all doing here. He rubs his sleepy eyes, realizing today is the big day for the birthday girl. Q Lolo grins and mentions that Sister Ruyan was the one who invited them. He finally remembers Ruyan actually mentioned inviting friends. He Qiang gets sized up from head to toe, his friends absolutely loving the unique choice of attire. He looks down, still in a dinosaur onesie. A Christmas gift from Mom, and honestly, the haters just do not understand high fashion. QD laughs, joking that a dragon represents supreme emperors.
He says this means He Qiang is ready to take the throne, so please stop with the memes.
He leads them inside and quickly heads back to change. By the time he comes back out, Ruyan is already up. She is greeting everyone as they shower her with birthday gifts. She is wearing a gorgeous white dress today, her hair tied up in a neat ponytail.
Honestly, she looks stunning.
He hands over his carefully prepared gift, making her eyes light up instantly.
She smiles brightly, thanking him but saving it to open with the others later.
Chi Luluo chimes in, excited that they brought a massive barbecue grill. Why not have an outdoor barbecue for lunch? Ruyan is totally down. Ruyan looks over at He Qiang, silently asking what he thinks. He nods. Chudi, come help prep the food.
The morning flies by with the villa buzzing with pure, wholesome energy.
Honestly, seeing Ruyan smile like this is such a massive win for us.
But right in the middle of their perfect barbecue, the doorbell suddenly rings. An uninvited guest. He heads to the front gate alone to open it.
Standing outside is none other than Liu Ruyan, looking completely exhausted and worn out.
Her eyes are red and puffy from crying.
He frowns and asks why she is here, but she just begs to see Ruyan. In a trembling voice, she explains that their father and oldest brother were just arrested. Their family is in absolute ruins, and her mother desperately sent her to beg Ruyan for help. And man, He Qiang is not holding back with this reality check. Li Rui bites her lip, fully admitting that they were completely in the wrong. She keeps begging, but suddenly Ruyan is standing behind him asking who it is. Ruyan freezes when she sees Liu Ruyan, who immediately starts sobbing and apologizing.
Choking back tears, Liu Ruyan tries to plead for their family, desperate for a lifeline. But Ruyan cuts her off, coldly addressing her as second sister. She calmly accepts the apology, but makes it clear that if she is here for help, the answer is a flat no, leaving Liu Ruyan crying that they are supposed to be family.
Ruyan can only laugh at the sheer hypocrisy.
They treated her like a servant and used her as a mere bargaining chip. A deep breath. They were never there when she needed them most.
She declares she has absolutely zero connection to the Liu family since the day they kicked her out.
Liu Ruyan tries to plead further, but He Qiang steps in and firmly shuts the door on her.
He gently asks if she is okay, but she just repeats what she has always said.
She shakes her head, assuring him that she truly does not care about those people anymore. Giving him a warm smile, she suggests they get back before the barbecue meat gets burned.
The party goes on until late at night, and once the guests finally say their goodbyes,
the villa finally gets some quiet as Liu Ruyan happily unwraps her gifts. Her smile grows wider with pure happiness even before opening them. Her cheeks are flushed, probably because she snuck some drinks earlier.
She definitely snuck some wine, then asks if this present is from him.
She picks up his gift box and carefully starts to open it. Inside is a really delicate necklace with a cute little bear pendant. He says he noticed she loved her toy bear, so he hoped she would like this. She slyly tells him it depends on who is giving it, then hands it back. She asks him to put it on, and he steps behind her. Gently lifting her long hair to clasp it, his fingers brush her neck. She shivers slightly at his touch, then turns around to face him.
Her fingers touch the pendant as her eyes sparkle with pure joy. She says this is her happiest birthday ever, and thanks Brother He Qiang.
He is just glad she likes it, noting it is getting late. Seeing the clear exhaustion on her face, he suggests she go get some rest. Liu Ruyan bites her lip and tells him to wait just a bit. She tells Brother He Qiang she also has a gift to thank him for taking care of her. He absolutely did not expect this turn of events, asking in surprise what the gift is.
She tells him he will find out soon enough.
The girl runs off to her room with her presents, leaving him very curious. Honestly, he is super touched as he waits alone in the living room. But 10 minutes pass, and there is still no sign of her coming down. He worries if something happened to her since she drank some wine earlier. Frowning slightly, he quickly walks over to the door of her bedroom. He raises his hand to knock and asks if she is all right, but before he can finish, before his hand can even touch the door, it suddenly swings wide open. A slender arm grabs him with absolute insane strength, pulling him right into the room. He gets thrown onto the bed, completely dazed and staring at the ceiling.
His brain is totally buzzing right now, like what just happened?
She whispers that she accidentally saw his secret browser folder of saved bookmarks before.
She noticed most of the girls in it wore these, so she wondered if he liked them.
The mattress sinks under her weight as Liu Ruyan looks down at him. Talk about a dangerous confession. She climbs right on top of him before he can sit up. She pins both of his wrists right down next to his head.
Her face is incredibly flushed, though it is hard to tell if it is alcohol or shyness.
Hearing her words, his eyes subconsciously drift down to see what she is wearing.
Liu Ruyan is straddling him, her knees pinning him from both sides. Her long, slender legs are wrapped in sheer black stockings, making it impossible to look away. He tries to look away, but let us be real, he fails the challenge in less than half a second.
He just stares blankly as she whispers that she is completely sober. She only drank to get some courage, asking if he remembers that one night.
She asks him if he remembers his own promise to her. His brain completely short-circuits before she reminds him he said to wait until she's an adult.
Liu Ruyan shakes her head, leaning down even closer to him.
Their faces are just inches apart as he stares straight into her eyes.
Ruyan looks completely different now. Those hazy eyes of hers suddenly have a dangerous grown-up edge. She runs her tongue over her lips and leans in close, whispering sweet things right in his ear.
She tells him she is finally an adult. Cut to the next morning, and his vibrating phone wakes him up.
It is already almost noon. Luckily for him, his schedule for the day is completely clear.
Letting out a breath, he very carefully tries to slide his arm out from
Liu Ruyan's warm embrace. He quietly slips into the hallway before finally answering the call.
He asks what is up, and his mom, Qiang, immediately cuts to the point. She tells him to get outside and help carry bags since his dad already left for the office.
She cannot carry all of it alone, leaving him wondering what she even bought.
He asks while heading downstairs, and Qiang happily gives him the answer.
These are the birthday gifts she got for Runyan. Yesterday was for the young crowd to party.
Today, it is finally the parents' turn to hand over their presents.
After helping her haul 7 or 8 massive bags inside, Qiang asks where Ruyan is. He tells her that Ruyan had a pretty tiring yesterday and is still resting upstairs. He tries keeping his face completely straight, but Qiang just narrows her eyes.
She scans him up and down before her gaze locks right onto his neck.
A knowing smile spreads across her face. Honestly, his mom's reaction is absolute gold. She pulls up her phone camera so he can see the giant, obvious mark on his neck. Meanwhile, back in the bedroom, warm morning sunlight spills through a tiny gap in the curtains. It paints golden patterns on the floor, but when Rian opens her eyes, his side is cold. She rubs her eyes and sits up, the blanket slipping down to expose her collarbone. There are matching red marks there too, right as faint voices drift up from downstairs. Ruyan quickly gets ready, changes into some cozy loungewear, and heads down to find Qiang. The older woman is stacking gift boxes on the table, making Ruyan gasp in surprise. Qiang looks up with a bright, warm smile, asking if she finally woke up. She calls her over to open these gifts, since yesterday was just for He Qiang and his friends. Today's presents are from the parents. Rian quietly walks over and takes a seat on the couch. Qiang gently takes her hand, giving her a look full of pure motherly love. She spots the matching mark on Runyan's neck, but wisely decides to keep quiet about it.
She just asks if she is adjusting well, and Ruyan admits it all feels like a dream.
Ruyan whispers that sometimes when she wakes up, she still expects to be in her old room. Trapped back in that tiny, miserable house. Hearing this, Qiang gently pats her hand, telling her to relax. He Qiang might seem a little wild, but he is actually more serious than anyone else. Since he brought her home, he will absolutely take responsibility. Ruyan can feel her face burning up. She ducks her head, whispering that she knows, which makes Qiang smile as she opens a box. Inside is a gorgeous set of heirloom jade jewelry that her own mother gave her when she married. Now she is passing it down, but Runyan immediately panics, saying it is way too expensive. Qiang insists, gently but firmly clasping the stunning jade necklace around Ruyan's neck anyway. She steps back to admire her work, nodding happily and telling her she looks absolutely beautiful. This was always going to be hers anyway. Ruyan freezes, totally caught off guard. When she realizes exactly what his mom is hinting at, her face turns bright red. Right on cue, He Qiang steps out of the kitchen, calling them over for lunch. Fast forward a few years, and their wedding venue is packed to the brim with friends and family. There are business partners, close relatives, and tons of guests excited to witness their big day. Right at the front, his buddy Chudi is standing as best man, nervously adjusting his tight bow tie. Seriously, who even designed this wedding setup? It looks like a hangman's noose. Real unique, huh?
Zhou Yunhei and Tang Xiang sit in the front row as Tang Xiang films everything.
Zhou Yunhei immediately slaps his hand down, asking if he's live streaming.
Have some class, Tang Jiang says. I am just recording for the chat. Luolo wanted it. Well, why did you not say so earlier? Tilt the camera this way. Get his mother in the frame, too.
Chu Lorlo stands as the bridesmaid, her eyes already tearing up with joy. She is clutching a tissue and sniffing, making Changjiang glance over in confusion.
Zhou Yunhei calmly says their favorite couple finally made it, just as the music starts.
The heavy double doors slowly swing open, revealing Liu Ruyan standing at the entrance.
Wearing a stunning white wedding gown and veil, whose arm is she holding?
Nobody is. She stands there completely alone, looking right at He Qiang on stage.
A soft smile plays on her lips as guests in the crowd whisper. Why is she alone? I heard she is from that ruined Liu family.
With her family collapsed, there is nobody to... But before they can finish, Liu Ruyan is already walking down the aisle, her steps incredibly steady. Step by step, her eyes remain completely locked onto his.
No father to walk her down, no family to escort her. But she walks firmer than anyone. Honestly, this girl is built different.
Watching her approach, he suddenly remembers the quiet girl sitting in his back seat years ago. Hiding herself in the shadows. Back then, she asked why he would ever choose her.
Now he can finally answer her, because from day one he wanted to see her step into the bright sunlight, and now she is right before him.
Placing her hand in his palm, she softly asks if he waited long.
Not long, he replies, just a few years. She smiles through tears.
The officiant begins reading the vows, but neither of them is even listening.
He Qiang, do you take Liu Ruyan to be your wife?
In sickness and in health? In poverty or wealth?
I do, he says. The officiant turns. Liu Ruyan, do you take him?
No matter, I do. The officiant blinks, saying he is not even finished. No need to finish, Liu Ruyan says. I absolutely do. The crowd bursts out laughing, making Hu Lolo cry even harder now. Sobbing, she shakes her brother and says Sister Ruyan is just way too cool.
Cutie rolls his eyes, telling her to let go of his tie first.
He is choking. As they swap rings, He Qiang gently takes her hand. He notices a tiny callus on her finger from years of hard work. Low-key heartbreaking.
He slides the ring onto her finger. It is a perfect fit.
When it is her turn, her hand is shaking so much she struggles.
Stop shaking, he whispers. I am not, she says, but she trembles worse.
The guests chuckle as she finally manages to slide the ring on.
She sighs in relief and glares at him, so he leans closer.
You had plenty of energy last night, so why are you shaking now?
Blushing, she steps on his foot as the officiant finally finds his moment.
You may now kiss the bride. He lifts her veil to see her gorgeous face. But her eyes are still those eyes, clear, bright, and with that same mischievous spark.
Suddenly, He Qiang whispers a soft thank you, but as for what it is for, he does not say.
She stands on her tiptoes to kiss him, and the entire crowd absolutely erupts with thunderous applause.
Lulo is crying so hard she almost passes out, literally held up by Chu Di so she does not fall. Way later, she leans in and softly whispers a quiet thank you right in his ear, thanking him for waiting for her to grow up. After the wedding, it is straight to the banquet. As they go table to table toasting, Ruyan changes into a gorgeous red dress. She stays right by his side as they finally reach the groomsmen table. Chu Di is already completely wasted, face all red as he stands up to toast He Qiang. He shouts out that after all these years of being brothers, he has to toast him. He is so hyped to see his bro finally get married, but He Qiang tells him to take it easy.
He Qiang reminds him he still needs to drive him home, but Chu Di insists his tolerance is legendary.
Next thing you know, Chu Di downs his drink, boom, straight onto the table. Zhou Yunho calmly props him back up, and honestly, we all have that one friend who gets knocked out after just one cup.
Always trying to act tough. Right then, Tang Jiang slides over with his phone telling them to pose.
Stand close together, let me get a quick photo of you two.
He Qiang and Ruyan stand side by side, her holding his arm with the sweetest smile.
Tang Jiang checks the shot, clicks his tongue in approval, and says it looks absolutely perfect.
He claims this could easily be their official wedding photo. Well, duh, it literally is.
Tang Jiang clarifies he means the massive portrait on the wall, but He Qiang tells him that is different.
He tells him that is a wedding portrait, but Tang Jiang insists they are basically the same thing. Zhou Yunhei delivers the ultimate burn, pointing out Tang Jiang does not even have a girlfriend. So trying to explain marriage to him is completely useless. Tang Jiang immediately snaps back at him, asking if he is looking for a fight today. Next, they make their way over to Luoloa's table.
Her eyes are still totally bloodshot from crying, but the second she sees them coming, she is up. She jumps right up with her arms wide open, begging Ruyan for a big hug.
Ruyan smiles and pulls her in, while Luolo just buries her face in her shoulder, sobbing.
She sniffles out that they absolutely have to be happy, or her favorite ship is ruined forever.
Ruyan gently pats her back until she lets go, but then Luolo turns her teary eyes to He Qiang. Getting dead serious, she warns him that if he ever dares to treat Rion badly, she will step in.
She will personally make him regret it. He Qiang just laughs, asking how exactly she plans to do that. She threatens to make her brother cut ties with him. Suddenly, the wasted QD lifts his head. Who is cutting ties? No way, we cannot do that.
He immediately faceplants back onto the table, leaving He Qiang totally speechless, but amused.
He Qiang promises he will remember. Fast forward to the end of the night, things start to wind down. While Ruyan heads to the restroom to fix her makeup, He Qiang stands alone in the corner, grabbing some water.
Out of nowhere, a familiar face approaches him. It is Liu Ruyan, and trust me, she looks incredibly exhausted compared to before.
Wearing a very basic dress, all that old arrogance she used to have is completely gone. She addresses him nervously as young Master He, looking super tense standing right there.
He just stares at her in silence. She quietly admits she only wanted to see Ruyan.
She knows Ryan has no interest in seeing her, and she honestly has no right to even be here.
But since today is her wedding day, she stops herself, taking a deep breath. Looking up with red, teary eyes, she asks him to pass along a message saying she is truly sorry, and that she genuinely wishes her a lifetime of happiness. He Qiang just quietly observes her. After a few tense seconds, he simply tells her to go say it herself, leaving her completely stunned. Following his gaze, they see that Liu Ruyan has returned. Standing just apart, the sisters lock eyes in complete silence. Liu Ruyan walks over, standing by his side to face her sister. Liu Rui whispers that she heard everything. Liu Ruyan calmly accepts her blessing, making her sister cry even more. When she tries to apologize, Liu Ruyan cuts her off. She won't forgive them. But holding a grudge forever is just too exhausting.
She takes his arm, proudly saying she has a husband who adores her.
She has loving in-laws and real friends by her side. That is enough. Her tears finally spill. She nods frantically and turns to leave. After a few steps, she looks back at her sister one last time. Then she disappears into the crowd, and Liu Ruyan leans on his shoulder. She sighs softly, telling him she is fine when he asks.
She looks up with a smile, saying they should head back inside.
The banquet ends and guests disperse. Judy gets dragged to the car by his friend, still yelling for He Qiang. He screams happy wedding and promises to call him tomorrow. Zhou Yunhei shoves him back inside, telling him to sober up first. The door slams shut. Lulo gets ready.
Before leaving, she runs over to give Liu Ruyan one last warm hug.
She begs for replies, then whispers a secret. Whatever she says makes her blush instantly. Honestly, their friendship is so wholesome. Giggling, she runs back to the car and blows them a kiss. Everything goes quiet. The couple stands together, watching the last pair of taillights fade into the dark. When he asks if she is tired, she leans on his shoulder.
Her feet just hurt from wearing heels all day.
Late that night, they finally step into their wedding suite. The room is beautifully decorated with bright red wedding sheets. Flower petals scatter and candles glow. Seeing the red wine, Liu Ruyan realizes his mother set this all up. He laughs, saying nobody else would do this as he checks the bottle. He offers a drink, but she declines. She has had enough alcohol today and heads straight to the shower. He sits on the bed, listening to the water. Suddenly, he gets nostalgic. Saving her from her toxic family feels like it happened just yesterday.
Back then, she was just a gloomy girl hiding in the shadows. She barely spoke.
Now look at her.
She steps out in her nightgown, wet hair draped over her shoulders. With her face flushed from the warm steam, she sits at the vanity.
He walks over. He gently takes the towel, offering to dry her hair for her. She freezes for a second, then quietly lets him take care of her. Ruyan suddenly asks if it really only felt like a few years. She asks if it is true, leaving him totally confused.
She stares through the mirror, mentioning the years he spent waiting. She asks if he really thinks that time was short. He Qiang admits it felt both long and short.
It felt long because he knew how hard it was to wait. He sets the towel down and grabs the hairdryer. Honestly, keeping his hands to himself was the ultimate test. She cracks up, and he jokes that prison laws saved him. He turns on the dryer, gently blowing warm air through her hair.
She sits quietly, stealing sweet glances at him through the mirror.
Once her hair is dry, he clicks the machine off. He brushes her hair behind her ear as she watches him. With shining eyes, she calls his name, and he answers. She thanks him for waiting, so he gently kisses her head. He smiles, and she wraps her arms tightly around his waist. Looking up with playful mischief, she asks what happens now.
She asks if they can stop waiting, and he raises an eyebrow. After a warm shower, she says, burying her face in his chest.
She softly reminds him that tonight is their actual wedding night. Looking down at his adorable bride, he cannot help but laugh. He calls her name, asking if she realizes something. He tells her she looks exactly like a certain someone.
Specifically, the girl who pinned him down in her pajamas years ago.
She completely freezes up, her face flushing as she gasps. Leaning in, he whispers that he ran away back then. But now, she looks up with eyes full of hope. He smiles back, telling her he has no plans to run. She pulls him down by his neck as the candles flicker. The moonlight is perfect, but honestly, that ending is way too rushed. Luckily, we have some extra after-story chapters to enjoy. Seriously, the main story skipped the wedding with a simple dot.
In chapter 31,000, Ruyan is organizing their wardrobe. She suddenly calls out, asking He Qiang to come over.
He walks over and notices her holding an old ribbon.
It is the exact ribbon from their very first date.
She unfolds it, pointing out a tiny hidden message written inside. Leaning closer, he spots black marker ink on the fabric. The note reads, "To the future Mrs. He," shocking him.
She laughs, telling him he was the one who wrote it.
He racks his brain, trying to remember that day.
Then it clicks. He remembers the clerk packing the dress.
When taking the bag, he secretly scribbled those words down. He thought she never noticed his sweet little hidden note. He Qiang rubs his nose, admitting he actually saw her fold that ribbon and put it back in the box.
Staring at it in his room for a long time that night, she asks why he never spoke up.
Say what? He wonders, but she just looks up at him with shining eyes and asks him directly. She asks if he really wanted to marry her, fearing he might just say it was all a joke. Our boy tells her he was dead serious back then, and she smiles, walking over to hug him. She says she was waiting for him to finally make his move, and he just looks down at her. Honestly, this is so sweet. Our boy is realizing she noticed absolutely everything from day one.
Keeping it all locked in her heart without uttering a single word, he finally calls out her name.
When she answers, he jokingly tells her that she can actually be pretty scary sometimes.
She blinks in confusion, but he explains it is because she is way too good at holding back.
Like, holding in her feelings and what she wants for literal years is just crazy dedication.
He asks if she was not scared of making herself sick, but she just ponders his question seriously. She looks up with a brilliant smile and says she got him, leaving our main character completely stunned.
Laughing it off, he admits she definitely knows how to charm him. Now we get a shift to Shiluolo's private couple diary, starting right on their big wedding day.
She notes down that Ruyan and He Qiang finally tied the knot.
At the venue, she was literally sobbing her eyes out, never expecting to ship a couple this hard. Her dedication goes way back, cheering them on since before they even met. Then watching them date, and now finally seeing them get married. Talk about a complete life. Ruyan looks gorgeous, and He Qiang is looking incredibly sharp.
During the ring exchange, Ruyan was shaking so much she could barely slip it onto his finger.
Her husband whispers something to tease her, and she immediately stomps on his foot.
When the priest says you may kiss the bride, Ruyan is the one who initiates, kissing him first. A quick stun from He Qiang before pulling her close, and now fast forward 1 month. She visits their place for dinner and notices Ruyan's cooking is getting insanely good.
Her husband is right there helping out, showing off some next-level domestic teamwork.
Watching them, she remembers when Ruyan could not cook to save her life. Surviving on instant noodles, but now she is sweet enough to serve him food. While He Qiang scoops soup for her, making our observer grin like a proud mom. Her brother has to poke her, telling her to eat normally for once. But she just hits him with the classic, "You do not understand, this is immersive shipping." He calls it nonsense, proving non-believers just will never get it.
6 months later, some absolutely massive news drops, and honestly, I did not see this coming.
Ruyan is pregnant, and our girl immediately claims her title as the godmother. Even though nobody officially agreed to it yet, He Qiang shares the announcement online, showing off the ultrasound photo alongside a sweet picture of the two of them. His simple caption says, "Upgraded, thanks," so she comments demanding to be the godmother. A simple question mark is all he replies, which she takes highly personally.
Like, does he not approve? She doesn't care. She is claiming that title anyway.
1 year into their marriage, and the baby is finally here. Sharing the news of a healthy baby girl, Ruyan is now recovering at the center.
She looks glowing while He Qiang holds his newborn daughter. His face is a mix of silly and proud, totally unlike the calm heir we know.
Leaning in, she sees this tiny little baby sleeping peacefully with closed eyes. When asked what her name is, he proudly reveals it is He Nian. Ruyan explains Nian's name means yearning, completely stunning Luolua. She looks back and forth, and He Qiang literally blushes and looks away. Ruyan just smiles. Honestly, the math is mathing. We all know who he is yearning for. Definitely not Luolo, but she is absolutely eating up this sweet 3-year marriage update. Today, they visit the amusement park. Honestly, Nian is the cutest. Pigtails bouncing, she runs around calling Ruyan.
Mom, He Qiang dad, and Luo just auntie.
Auntie is fine. Still a win. On the carousel, little Nian insists that both their parents ride with her. Picture He Qiang, this massive guy squeezed onto a tiny carousel horse with his legs bent. His face is pure comedy, and Ruyan is laughing her head off.
She snaps a dozen photos of him before they head home, where the kid falls fast asleep.
He Qiang carries her while Ruyan holds onto his arm.
Following them under the long streetlights, Luolo gets hit with all the feels.
She has shipped them since day 1, and now they are a happy family of 3. Time flies, but that's okay. She still has a lifetime to keep fangirling over this top-tier couple. Honestly, not shipping them forever would be a crime. This side story is too wholesome.